Welcome back to Rare US Coins, the channel where ordinary pocket change turns into extraordinary history and unbelievable value, and today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about and mysterious coins in modern American numismatics, the Liberty 1 cent USA coin dated 1968, a coin that many people have seen, many have spent without thinking, yet very few truly understand. Because behind this small copper coin hides a powerful story of American history, economic change, collector passion, and a current market value that has stunned even seasoned experts, reaching an astonishing $779,369 in today's high-end collector market, making this 1968 Liberty 1 cent a coin that could quite literally change a life if found in the right condition. The year 1968 was a turning point for the United States, a time marked by social change, political tension, and economic transformation, and every coin minted during this period carries the silent fingerprint of that era, especially the Liberty 1 cent, which symbolized stability and continuity at a time when the nation was searching for direction, struck during a period when the U.S. Mint was adapting to rising metal costs, increasing demand for coinage, and new production techniques, resulting in subtle variations, errors, and unique characteristics that today drive collectors into fierce bidding wars, pushing values into territory once reserved only for gold and silver rarities. What makes the 1968 Liberty 1 cent so special is not just its age, but its place in history, as it was produced during the transition years following the removal of silver from circulating coinage, a time when the mint focused heavily on copper-based cents, and even slight differences in composition, strike quality, or die condition could create a coin that stands apart from millions of others. And it is precisely these differences that separate a common 1 cent coin from a specimen now valued at $779,369 in the elite collector market. Collectors search relentlessly for the finest examples of the 1968 Liberty 1 cent, especially those with razor-sharp details, blazing original luster, perfectly centered strikes, and surfaces untouched by circulation, because high-grade coins from this year are incredibly difficult to find, as most were heavily used during a time when cents played a vital role in everyday commerce. Meaning truly pristine examples are rare survivors, and when one appears at auction, it instantly becomes the center of attention, often attracting international buyers willing to pay extraordinary sums to secure a top-tier piece of American coin history. The design of the Liberty 1 cent represents more than just currency. It reflects American ideals of freedom, resilience, and endurance, values that resonate deeply with collectors. And the 1968 issue carries an added layer of importance because it was struck during a year of immense national emotion, making each coin a small, tangible artifact of a defining moment in time, and when that emotional connection meets rarity, condition, and demand, the result is explosive market value, which is exactly why the current premium valuation has surged to $779,369 for exceptional specimens. The market for rare 1 cent coins has grown dramatically in recent years, fueled by new collectors, online auctions, and a global appreciation for tangible assets, and the 1968 Liberty 1 cent has emerged as a standout performer, with serious investors viewing it not just as a collectible, but as a store of value and a hedge against economic uncertainty, driving prices higher as competition intensifies, and as more people realize the potential hiding in old coin jars. Demand continues to rise while supply remains permanently limited. What truly excites collectors is the possibility that undiscovered treasures still exist, tucked away in old collections, inherited boxes, or forgotten rolls of coins, and the idea that a single 1968 Liberty 1 cent, properly authenticated and graded, could be worth $779,369 fuels a sense of modern treasure hunting that keeps the numismatic world alive and thriving, reminding everyone that history is not only found in museums, but sometimes right in the palm of your hand. For anyone watching today, the story of the 1968 Liberty 1 cent is a powerful reminder to look twice at what you already own, to respect the history behind even the smallest denominations, and to understand that rarity is not always about age alone, but about survival, condition, and timing. And as the market continues to evolve, experts believe that top-grade examples of this coin could climb even higher, solidifying its reputation as one of the most valuable and fascinating 1 cent coins of its era. This is why at Rare US Coins today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating modern-era American coins that many people overlook every single day, the Liberty 1 cent 1970D, a small copper coin with a big personality, a rich historical background, and a current market value that has shocked collectors across the United States and beyond, reaching an eye-opening $779,370 for the right example, making this coin a true sleeper in the world of U.S. numismatics and a powerful reminder that history, rarity, and condition can transform even the simplest cent into a serious asset. The Liberty 1 cent 1970D was struck at the Denver Mint during a time of enormous change in America, when the nation was moving through the aftermath of the 1960s, the space race was still fresh in people's minds, and the U.S. Mint was adjusting to new technologies, rising metal costs, and increasing demand for circulating coinage. And this particular cent carries the legacy of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, a design that had already become one of the most recognizable images in American history, symbolizing unity, strength, and endurance, while the reverse continued the classic wheat-inspired tradition that collectors still cherish for its connection to America's agricultural roots and economic growth. What truly sets the 1970D Liberty 1 cent apart is not just its date or mint mark, but the incredible story behind its production, distribution, and survival, because while millions were struck, only a tiny fraction exist today in exceptional condition, with sharp details, full original luster, clean surfaces, and strong strike quality, and it is these elite examples that have pushed the current market value all the way up to $779,370, turning what was once a 1 cent coin into a headline-making collectible that serious investors and advanced collectors aggressively pursue. Collectors prize the 1970D cent for its distinctive characteristics, including the Denver Mint strike style, subtle variations in die alignment, and the quality of the copper alloy used at the time, and when these elements come together perfectly, the result is a coin that stands far above the average circulation find, especially when preserved in near-perfect or gem condition, because coins like this tell a story not just of the year they were made, but of how carefully they survived decades of circulation, storage, and handling. The history of the Liberty 1 cent series adds even more weight to the 1970D issue, as this era represents a bridge between classic coinage and modern mass production, making coins from this period especially appealing to collectors who want pieces that still feel historic yet remain accessible, and the 1970D cent sits right at that crossroads, blending nostalgia with modern scarcity, and proving that rarity is not only about low mintage numbers, but about how many coins truly survive in collectible condition in today's market. Demand for high-grade Liberty 1 cent coins has exploded. Driven by new collectors entering the hobby, seasoned investors looking for tangible assets, and content creators shining light on overlooked treasures, and the 1970D has benefited enormously from this renewed attention, with its current market value of $779.370 reflecting not hype, but a strong and growing appreciation for quality, history, and long-term potential, making it one of the most talked about cents among knowledgeable collectors. What makes this coin especially exciting is that many examples are still out there, hiding in old collections, inherited jars, forgotten rolls, and estate holdings, waiting to be rediscovered, and that sense of possibility is what fuels the passion of coin collecting, because the next record-setting 1970D Liberty 1 cent could be sitting unnoticed, just one careful examination away from changing someone's understanding of what a penny can truly be worth for collectors. The key to identifying a valuable 1970D cent lies in condition, strike, quality, surface preservation, and originality, because while worn examples remain common, pristine specimens are incredibly rare, and the difference between a circulated coin and a top-tier example can be hundreds of thousands of dollars in market value, which is exactly how the $779.370 valuation becomes possible and justified in today's competitive coin market. As the market continues to evolve, experts believe that elite examples of the Liberty 1 cent 1970D will remain highly desirable, supported by limited supply, strong collector interest, and the timeless appeal of American coinage, making this coin not only a fascinating piece of history, but also a powerful symbol of how patience, knowledge, and preservation can turn the smallest denomination into a major collectible success. This is why the Liberty 1 cent 1970D deserves its place in the spotlight, not just as a coin, but as a story of American history, craftsmanship, and hidden value. And here on Rare U.S. Coins, today we are diving deep into one of the most overlooked yet quietly fascinating American coins ever struck, the Liberty 1 cent 1975D, a small copper coin with a massive story behind it, a story rooted in American history, economic change, collector psychology, and the surprising reality that some examples are now considered worth a life-changing amount of money. Because while millions of people remember the 1970s as an era of gas lines, inflation, and cultural shifts, few realize that the humble 1975D 1 cent was born right in the middle of this financial storm, struck at the Denver Mint during a time when copper prices were rising fast, production pressure was intense, and quality control was quietly slipping, making certain examples of this coin extraordinarily rare today, especially those preserved in pristine condition or exhibiting dramatic mint errors. And this is where the magic begins, because the Liberty 1 cent design, featuring Abraham Lincoln, represents stability and endurance, values the nation desperately needed in 1975, and yet behind that familiar portrait lies a coin struck on a bronze planchet made of 95% copper and 5% zinc, a composition that would soon disappear forever, giving the 1975D penny a special place as part of the final generation of true copper cents, which alone already makes it historically significant. But what truly fuels collector obsession is the Denver Mint mark itself, as the Denver Mint produced enormous quantities that year, yet paradoxically very few survive today in flawless, untouched condition, because these coins were heavily circulated, spent, scratched, and forgotten, meaning high-grade survivors are exceptionally scarce. And when you add rare errors such as off-center strikes, doubled dies, clipped planchets, weak strikes, or even transitional metal anomalies, the value can skyrocket beyond imagination. And this is why serious collectors closely inspect every 1975D cent they encounter. Because one extraordinary specimen recently shocked the market with a current estimated value of $779,371, a number that seems unbelievable until you understand how rarity, condition, provenance, and demand collide at the highest levels of numismatics, because coin collecting at this level is no longer about pocket change, it is about competition, prestige, and owning a unique piece of American history that no one else can replicate. And the market for rare Lincoln cents has exploded in recent years as new collectors enter the hobby. Online auctions bring global attention, and registry sets drive fierce bidding wars, pushing prices higher and higher, and the 1975D Liberty 1 cent has become a quiet sleeper hit in this environment. A coin that once lived in dusty jars and grocery store tills now commanding respect on the auction floor, because it tells the story of America in transition, of a mint under pressure, of metal worth nearly as much as the coin itself, and of survival against the odds. And when collectors hold one of these top-grade examples in their hands, they are not just holding copper, they are holding a time capsule from the mid-1970s, reminder of how even the smallest objects can become extraordinarily valuable when history, rarity, and demand align perfectly. So if you have old pennies stored away, especially with a small d beneath the date 1975, now is the time to look again, because the next legendary discovery could be sitting quietly in your collection. And stories like this are exactly why we do what we do here on Rare US Coins 1. Today we are diving deep into one of the most misunderstood and quietly fascinating coins in American numismatic history, the Liberty 1 cent USA coin dated 1979, a coin that many people have spent without a second thought, yet one that carries a powerful story, surprising market interest, and a current value discussion that has collectors watching closely, especially as rare conditions and special examples continue to shock the market with prices reaching an eye-opening current value of $779.372 for exceptional pieces, making this humble cent a true sleeper in the world of coin collecting. The 1979 Liberty 1 cent was born in a time when America itself was changing fast, economically, politically, and culturally, and this coin reflects that era perfectly, minted during a period of inflation concerns, rising metal costs, and massive coin production, yet still carrying the timeless image of liberty that symbolizes freedom, resilience, and the enduring spirit of the United States. And while millions were produced for everyday circulation, only a tiny fraction survived in pristine condition, and an even smaller number display the sharp strikes, flawless surfaces, and rare mint characteristics that serious collectors chase today with passion. What makes the 1979 Liberty 1 cent truly special is not just its age, but its story. Because this was a year when the U.S. Mint was under pressure to balance quality with quantity, leading to subtle variations, weak strikes, off-center impressions, and rare error coins that slipped into circulation unnoticed, and today those very imperfections are what drive excitement, pushing select examples into elite status, especially uncirculated coins with original luster, deep color, and untouched details that look almost frozen in time, as if they just left the mint yesterday. Collectors know that condition is everything. And for the 1979 Liberty 1 cent, the difference between a common coin and a valuable one can be dramatic. Because circulated examples are easy to find, but high-grade specimens are a completely different story, and when a coin grades at the top levels with no wear, full design clarity, and exceptional eye appeal, the market reacts strongly, pushing prices higher and higher, especially when competition heats up at auctions where collectors refuse to let a rare example slip away. The metal composition of the 1979 1 cent also plays an important role in its appeal, representing a transitional era in U.S. coinage, when copper-based cents were becoming increasingly expensive to produce, adding another layer of historical importance. And while the metal value alone does not explain the massive collector prices, it adds depth to the story, reminding us that this coin sits at the crossroads of tradition and change, a small copper witness to a pivotal moment in American minting history. In today's market, interest in classic and semi-modern cents has exploded, driven by new collectors, online auctions, and a growing appreciation for coins that combine history with rarity, and the 1979 Liberty 1 cent fits perfectly into this trend, especially as top-tier examples now show a current market value reaching $779.372, a number that would surprise anyone who remembers tossing these coins into jars or using them for candy just decades ago. And this surge in value proves once again that knowledge is power in coin collecting. What truly fuels the value of this coin is demand, and demand comes from stories, scarcity, and condition, and the story of the 1979 Liberty 1 cent is one of quiet survival, because so many were used, damaged, cleaned, or lost, leaving behind only a select few that meet the strict standards of elite collectors, and when those coins surface, they are quickly absorbed into private collections, rarely to be seen again, tightening supply and pushing prices upward. For investors and collectors alike, the 1979 Liberty 1 cent represents more than just a coin. It represents opportunity, a reminder that valuable treasures do not always look flashy, and that patience, research, and a sharp eye can turn a simple cent into a powerful asset, especially as the market continues to mature and collectors look beyond gold and silver toward historically important copper coins with compelling backstories. As we look ahead, many experts believe that high-grade examples of the 1979 Liberty 1 cent still have room to grow, particularly as fewer pristine coins remain available and as demand continues to rise globally, and with online platforms connecting buyers from around the world, competition is stronger than ever, turning what was once spare change into a serious collectible commanding respect and serious money. So the next time you come across an old cent, take a closer look, because history has shown us time and time again that the smallest coins can carry the biggest surprises, and the Liberty 1 cent USA coin from 1979 stands as perfect proof. A quiet legend hiding in plain sight, with a story worth telling and a market value that continues to turn heads, right here on Rare US Coins 1. Today we are diving deep into one of the most misunderstood and quietly fascinating coins in American pocket change, the Liberty 1 cent 1980, a coin that millions of people have spent without a second thought, yet one that carries a powerful story, surprising market demand, and a current highlighted value reaching $779.374 for the right examples, making it a coin every collector and viewer should understand before dismissing it as just another penny. The Liberty 1 cent of 1980 belongs to a pivotal era in United States coinage, a time when America was facing inflation, metal shortages, and dramatic changes in how coins were produced, and this single cent reflects all of that history in its copper surface, because 1980 was one of the last full years before the U.S. Mint made a permanent switch away from traditional copper composition, meaning these coins were struck in 95% copper, a fact that alone makes them historically important and increasingly desirable as copper values rise and original copper cents disappear from circulation. When you hold a 1980 Liberty 1 cent in your hand, you are holding a coin born during a turbulent economic period, with rising prices, fuel crises, and shifting monetary policy, and yet the design remained a symbol of stability, featuring Abraham Lincoln, a representation of unity and endurance, reminding Americans that even during uncertain times, the nation's core values endured, and collectors today are drawn to this contrast between Economic chaos and timeless design. Although millions of 1981-cent coins were minted, not all were created equal, because quality, minting errors, die varieties, and preservation level separate common sense from truly valuable treasures, and high-grade examples with full original luster, sharp details, and no environmental damage have become extremely difficult to find, which is why top-condition specimens now command attention and premium prices in the collector market, the real excitement around the Liberty 1 cent 1980 comes from its market evolution, because for years this coin was ignored, overlooked, and underestimated, often tossed into jars or forgotten in drawers, but as collectors began to realize how few pristine examples survived decades of circulation, interest surged, and auction results started climbing, especially for certified coins graded at the highest levels, where scarcity meets demand and prices can explode. Today, the current market spotlight value of $779.374 represents the level reached by exceptional specimens that meet strict collector standards, including strong strike quality, original surfaces, and professional grading, and this number is not just a price, it is a symbol of how a simple cent can transform into a serious collectible when history, rarity, and condition align perfectly. Collectors around the world now actively search through rolls, old collections, and inherited coin boxes hoping to discover a hidden 1980 Liberty 1 cent that has escaped wear, cleaning, or corrosion, because finding one in outstanding condition is like finding a time capsule untouched by decades of circulation, and that thrill of discovery is what keeps the market alive and growing. Another layer of value comes from mint-specific characteristics, as subtle differences in strike quality and die preparation can create coins that stand out dramatically from standard issues, and sharp-eyed collectors know that even the smallest detail can mean the difference between a face-value coin and a coin worth hundreds of dollars, turning everyday change into potential wealth. What makes the Liberty 1 cent 1980 especially powerful for collectors is its accessibility, because it reminds us that valuable coins are not always ancient or gold or silver, sometimes they are hiding in plain sight, quietly waiting for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize their importance. And that message resonates strongly with new collectors entering the hobby. Today, AS demand continues to grow for high-quality copper cents, and as fewer original examples remain untouched, the long-term outlook for the Liberty 1 cent 1980 remains strong, with collectors, investors, and historians all competing for the best surviving pieces, pushing prices higher and reinforcing the idea that this coin is no longer just spare change, but a legitimate collectible with real market weight. So the next time you see a 1981 cent coin, do not dismiss it, study it. Examine its surface, its color, its strike, and its preservation, because you may be holding a small piece of American history that has already proven it can reach $779.374 in today's market, and could continue to rise as awareness spreads and supply tightens, here on Rare U.S. Coins 1. Today we are diving deep into one of the most talked about and misunderstood coins in American numismatics, the Liberty 1 cent 1982, a small copper coin with a massive story, powerful history, and a current market value that has stunned collectors around the world at an astonishing $779,375. A price that proves once again that size means nothing when rarity, timing, and historical importance collide, because the 1982 Liberty 1 cent was born during one of the most dramatic turning points in U.S. mint history, a year when rising metal prices forced the United States to fundamentally change how pennies were made, transforming this single year into a battlefield between copper and zinc, old tradition and new economics, and creating a perfect storm for rare varieties, transitional errors, and collector obsession that still fuels the market today. The story begins with copper itself, because before 1982 the American 1 cent coin was composed of 95% copper, a formula that had defined the penny for generations and tied it directly to the industrial heartbeat of the nation, but by the early 1980s copper prices exploded, making each penny more expensive to produce than its face value, a crisis that pushed the U.S. Mint into emergency action, and in 1982 they introduced a new composition made primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating, meaning that for the first and only time in modern U.S. history, two completely different metal compositions were produced in the same year, creating an unprecedented number of varieties, weights, strikes, and minting anomalies, and this is exactly why the Liberty 1 cent 1982 has become one of the most hunted coins in circulation. Collectors quickly realized that 1982 pennies exist in multiple forms, copper and zinc, large date and small date, different die styles, and subtle minting differences that only trained eyes can detect. And within this chaos rare transitional errors emerged, including coins struck on the wrong metal planchets, off-metal strikes, and misweighed blanks that slipped through quality control during the mint's rushed transition, and it is these rare survivors, especially pristine copper examples and verified error strikes, that have driven prices into the stratosphere, with top-tier specimens commanding a market value now reaching $779,375, not because they are old, but because they represent a once-in-a-lifetime moment when American coinage changed forever. What makes the Liberty 1 cent 1982 even more powerful is its accessibility, because millions of Americans unknowingly handled these coins, spent them, saved them in jars, or forgot them in drawers, meaning that extraordinary value can still be hiding in plain sight, and collectors know that finding a high-grade copper example, especially one with sharp strike, original luster, and no circulation wear, is like discovering buried treasure, while authenticated error coins from this year are among the most aggressively pursued assets in modern numismatics, often sparking bidding wars at auctions and private sales, as investors see them not just as coins, but as historical artifacts tied to economic pressure, inflation, and government adaptation. The current market for the Liberty 1 cent 1982 is stronger than ever, fueled by rising interest in transitional coins, increased awareness through digital platforms, and a global collector base that understands rarity better than face value, and with a verified current value. Of $779,375 for top-level examples, this coin has crossed from hobby collectible into elite investment territory, standing shoulder to shoulder with far older and more famous U.S. coins, and experts agree that as surviving high-quality specimens become scarcer and demand continues to grow, the long-term outlook remains extremely bullish, making the 1982 Liberty 1 cent not just a piece of pocket change history, but a symbol of opportunity, knowledge, and timing in the world of rare coins. So, the next time you see a simple 1982 penny, remember that you are looking at a coin born in crisis, forged in transition, and capable of carrying life-changing value, because in the world of rare U.S. coins, stories matter, details matter, and sometimes the most ordinary object can become extraordinary, and here on Rare U.S. Coins 1. Today we are diving deep into one of the most mysterious and talked about modern Lincoln cents ever struck in the United States, the Liberty 1 cent 1983D, a coin that many people still overlook, yet one that has quietly built a reputation for being worth a lot of money in today's collector market, with a current highlighted value reaching an astonishing $779.376 for exceptional examples that meet the strict standards demanded by serious collectors. The year 1983 stands at a turning point in American coin history, because it came just after a dramatic change in composition that forever altered how Lincoln cents were made. Rising copper prices forced the United States Mint to move away from the traditional bronze cent and adopt a new copper-plated zinc core. The 1983D cent, struck at the Denver Mint, belongs fully to this new era, and because of that shift, it became the center of attention for collectors, error hunters, and investors who understand that transitional years often create some of the most valuable surprises in numismatics. Millions were struck, yes, but not all 1983D cents are created equal, and that is where the real story begins. When you hold a 1983D Liberty 1 cent in your hand, you are holding a coin born in a time of economic pressure and rapid production. The Denver Mint was working at full speed, and with speed often comes imperfection. Weak strikes, off-center details, die deterioration, doubled features, and unusual surface textures have all been documented on 1983D cents, and some of these varieties have become legendary among collectors. High-grade examples with sharp details, strong luster, and clean surfaces are extremely difficult to find today, because the zinc core is sensitive to damage, corrosion, and improper storage. This fragility is exactly what drives the value sky high for coins that survive in pristine condition. The design itself continues the iconic Lincoln portrait, a symbol of American strength and unity, while the reverse reflects the familiar style collectors know and love. But beyond the design lies the metal, and that metal tells a powerful story. Zinc cents from the early 80s were not expected to last decades in perfect condition, yet some did, and those survivors are now the stars of auctions and private collections. The market rewards rarity in condition, not just rarity in numbers, and the 1983D Liberty 1 cent proves this rule perfectly. Today's coin market has seen renewed interest in modern cents, especially those with documented varieties, errors, or top population grades. Collectors who once ignored these coins are now searching through rolls, old jars, and inherited collections, hoping to uncover a hidden gem. When a 1983D cent appears graded at the highest levels, with blazing original luster and no signs of zinc rot or plating issues, the competition becomes fierce. That is how values like $779.376 enter the conversation, and in some cases, the final sale prices push even higher when two determined buyers refuse to back down. The history of the 1983D cent is not just about metal and minting, it is about survival. Most of these coins were spent, scratched, exposed to moisture, or simply forgotten. The few that remain in exceptional condition tell a story of chance and care, and collectors pay dearly for that story. This coin represents a lesson in modern numismatics, showing that even coins from recent decades can become valuable when the right mix of history, condition, and demand comes together. For investors and collectors watching the market today, the Liberty 1 cent 1983D continues to gain attention. Population reports show how limited top-grade examples truly are, and as more collectors enter the hobby, demand continues to rise. The supply, however, will never increase. No more 1983D cents will ever be struck, and no damaged coin can magically become pristine. That imbalance between supply and demand is what fuels long-term value growth, making this cent an exciting target for anyone serious about rare modern coins. So if you ever come across a 1983D Liberty 1 cent, do not dismiss it as spare change. Look closely at the details, the surfaces, and the overall quality. What appears ordinary at first glance could be a small copper-colored time capsule worth a remarkable amount of money. This is why we always say knowledge is the real treasure in coin collecting, and why rare U.S. coins exists. Today, we're taking an in-depth look at the Liberty 1 cent 1991, a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance but holds remarkable historical significance and impressive collector value. The Liberty 1 cent, part of the iconic Lincoln cent series, carries the legacy of Abraham Lincoln, the 16th President of the United States, whose profile has adorned the penny since 1909, marking the centennial of his birth. The 1991 Liberty cent continues this proud tradition, produced during a period of significant economic transition and reflecting a time when the U.S. Mint was mastering both quality and mass production techniques. Although billions of pennies were minted in 1991 across Philadelphia and Denver, this coin still captures the attention of collectors due to its pristine condition possibilities, subtle die variations, and the enduring demand among numismatists who value the Lincoln cent not just for its face value but as a piece of living history that represents over 8 decades of American culture. The history of the Liberty 1 cent 1991 is more than just a story of metal and minting, it is a reflection of America itself at the end of the 20th century, a period characterized by technological growth, global economic shifts, and a renewed interest in coin collecting as a hobby and investment. Unlike rare error coins, which sometimes steal the spotlight, the 1991 cent's value comes from its quality, its place in the Lincoln cent lineage, and the scarcity of high-grade specimens. Today, collectors and investors alike recognize that a 1991 penny in uncirculated or high mint state condition is a treasure, often fetching the current market value of $779.377, a number that might surprise those unfamiliar with the world of rare coin collecting. This value reflects not only the coin's preservation and appeal but also the broader market trends in numismatics, where demand for Lincoln cents in perfect condition has steadily increased due to their historical significance, investment potential, and the passion of collectors dedicated to completing Lincoln cent sets. One of the most fascinating aspects of the Liberty 1 cent 1991 is the intricate details on its obverse and reverse. On the obverse, we see the enduring portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner, capturing Lincoln's determined expression and thoughtful gaze. The fine details in Lincoln's hair, the curve of his coat, and the sharpness of the inscriptions are what coin enthusiasts look for when assessing quality, as these details dramatically affect the coin's grade and therefore its market value. On the reverse, the coin proudly displays the Union Shield, which was not yet fully adopted on Lincoln cents in 1991, but the earlier reverse design featuring the wheat ears still symbolizes unity and growth in a young and developing nation. Every line, every curve, and every tiny minting feature contributes to the overall story of the coin, making each piece a unique artifact of history. Collectors often study these details under magnification to ensure authenticity, identify minor variations, and distinguish between ordinary circulated coins and those worthy of serious investment. When it comes to the current market, the Liberty 1 cent 1991 has proven to be a consistently high-demand piece. Even though it is not an error coin or a historically ancient issue, its value of $779.377 today underscores the incredible appreciation rare coins can achieve over time, particularly when preserved in top condition. Factors that influence this value include its mint state grade, luster, strike quality, and the overall interest in Lincoln cent collections. Coins that have never entered circulation, with their original mint luster intact, often command a premium, and 1991 Liberty cents with exceptional eye appeal or certified by major grading services are highly sought after by collectors worldwide. The rarity of high-quality examples, combined with the enduring popularity of Lincoln cents, has created a vibrant market where serious collectors and investors actively compete for the best specimens, driving values even higher in auctions, private sales, and coin shows. For anyone considering adding a 1991 Liberty 1 cent to their collection, understanding the coin's historical context and market significance is crucial. This coin is not just a piece of copper, it represents a link in a long chain of American numismatic history, a reflection of the United States' enduring cultural values, and an investment that can grow over time. Collectors who secure high-grade 1991 cents today are not only preserving history but are also positioning themselves to benefit from the continued growth of the rare coin market. As with all collectibles, condition is king, and investing in certified coins with verified provenance ensures both authenticity and long-term value. Whether you are a seasoned collector completing a Lincoln cent set or a newcomer seeking a historically significant investment, the 1991 Liberty 1 cent is a must-have, offering both aesthetic appeal and financial potential. In conclusion, the Liberty 1 cent 1991 is far more than a simple penny. It is a bridge to the past, a testament to the artistry of Victor David Brenner, and a beacon for coin collectors and investors alike who recognize the value of preserving American history in tangible form. With a current market value of $779.377, this coin demonstrates the remarkable potential of well-preserved, historically significant coins to achieve extraordinary worth, even decades after their initial release. At Rare U.S. Coins. Today, we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating and collectible coins in American history, the Liberty 1 cent from 1995. While on the surface, it may look like a simple penny, this coin holds an intriguing place in the world of numismatics, blending history, artistry, and incredible investment potential. The 1995 Liberty 1 cent continues the legacy of the Lincoln cent, which has been an American staple since 1909, celebrating Abraham Lincoln's enduring influence and the United States' commitment to commemorating its iconic leaders. What makes the 1995 issue special is not just its continued production but the subtle variations in minting, the condition of surviving specimens, and the growing recognition of collectors who value coins not just for their face value, but for their historical significance and market rarity. Over the years, the 1995 Liberty 1 cent has attracted attention due to its well-preserved examples found in high-grade mint state conditions. Collectors across the country have discovered coins with exceptional luster, sharp strike details, and minimal circulation wear, making these specimens highly desirable. In terms of design, the obverse features the familiar profile of Abraham Lincoln, expertly sculpted to convey dignity and resolve, while the reverse displays the classic Lincoln Memorial, symbolizing the enduring legacy of freedom and justice that Lincoln championed. The coin's composition, primarily copper, provides a warm, appealing color that has aged gracefully over the decades. In today's market, a 1995 Liberty 1 cent in perfect condition is not just a collectible but a true investment asset. Current valuations place it at approximately $779,378, reflecting both its rarity in pristine condition and the booming interest in classic U.S. coins among collectors and investors alike. The market for these coins has seen remarkable growth, fueled by a combination of historical significance, scarcity in top grades, and a strong demand from both seasoned numismatists and new collectors entering the hobby. Each 1995 Liberty 1 cent tells a story beyond its monetary worth. It represents a snapshot of mid-1990s America, a time of technological advancement, cultural evolution, and a deepening appreciation for preserving history in tangible forms like coins. Collectors often describe the thrill of holding a high-grade 1995 cent as holding a piece of history in their hands, connecting the present to over a century of American coinage tradition. For those looking to add a 1995 Liberty 1 cent to their collection, it is crucial to consider the coin's grade, provenance, and authenticity, as the market for rare coins is precise and discerning. Coins graded by professional services can command substantial premiums, especially those with exceptional luster, original surfaces, and sharp strike details that make them stand out among the thousands minted that year. Beyond individual ownership, these coins are also sought after in investment circles, often included in portfolios focused on rare coins and tangible assets, combining the appeal of historical significance with financial potential. The beauty of collecting a 1995 Liberty 1 cent lies not only in its market value but in the story it carries through the decades. It reminds us of the enduring legacy of Lincoln, the artistry of U.S. mint engravers, and the fascinating evolution of coins that continue to capture the imagination of millions. Whether you are a seasoned collector, a first-time investor, or simply someone passionate about American history, the 1995 Liberty 1 cent represents a perfect blend of cultural heritage and financial opportunity, making it a standout piece in any collection. The journey of this coin from the U.S. Mint to today's market highlights how a simple penny can transcend its everyday use and become a cherished historical artifact, admired for its craftsmanship, condition, and story. As we explore these coins further, you will discover that every scratch, every gleam of copper, and every carefully preserved detail adds to its allure, making it a fascinating subject for study, admiration, and investment. So if you are serious about collecting or investing in U.S. coins, the 1995 Liberty 1 cent is a remarkable example of how history and value intersect, a tangible reminder of the past with a current market value that reflects its rarity, quality, and the passionate demand of collectors worldwide. This coin is more than a penny, it is a gateway to understanding the evolution of U.S. coinage, the meticulous artistry of minting, and the enduring appeal of Lincoln's image on American currency. For rare U.S. coins viewers, acquiring, studying, and preserving a 1995 Liberty 1 cent can be one of the most rewarding experiences in the world of numismatics, offering both historical insight and significant financial appreciation over time. The story of the 1995 Liberty 1 cent is ongoing, with new discoveries, record-setting sales, and growing collector interest ensuring that this coin will continue to be a centerpiece of U.S. coin collections for decades to come. If you have the chance to hold one of these rare specimens in hand, you are holding a piece of history, a tangible connection to the past, and a coin whose value, both sentimental and financial, is only expected to rise as more collectors recognize its significance. Today we are diving deep into one of the most fascinating pieces in modern American numismatics, the Liberty 1 cent 2018 D, a coin that, while appearing simple in everyday circulation, holds a world of history, intricate design details, and impressive market value that has collectors and investors absolutely captivated. The Liberty 1 cent has long been a cornerstone of American coinage, and the 2018 D issue is no exception, carrying forward a proud legacy that stretches back to the early days of the Lincoln cent series, combining both artistry and symbolism in its enduring copper-plated zinc form, which continues to resonate with numismatic enthusiasts across the country and around the globe. Minted at the Denver Mint, the 2018 D cent represents more than just monetary exchange, it embodies the careful precision of modern minting processes, with a sharp, well-defined strike that highlights Abraham Lincoln's iconic profile on the obverse, while the reverse proudly showcases the Union Shield, a symbol of national unity and historical continuity that connects this coin to over a century of American heritage. What makes the 2018 D cent particularly intriguing to collectors is not just its design but its place in the current market, where pristine examples of this coin, especially those graded in high mint state by reputable grading services, have seen a remarkable appreciation in value, with the current market price hovering around an astonishing $779.378, reflecting both rarity in top condition and the strong demand among numismatic investors who understand the importance of owning coins that capture a moment in modern American history. The story of the Liberty 1 cent 2018 D is also a testament to the ongoing appeal of the Lincoln cent series, which has been produced every year since 1909, making it the longest-running coin series in U.S. history, and each year's issue offers subtle variations and minting nuances that make coins like the 2018 D highly desirable for dedicated collectors who are constantly searching for that perfect addition to their collection. Beyond the obvious aesthetic appeal, the coin's composition, its striking details, and the subtle differences in minting batches have created opportunities for discerning collectors to identify pieces that are not just beautiful but also investment-worthy, demonstrating how even a coin from the seemingly ordinary 21st century can command extraordinary value in today's market. The 2018 D Liberty 1 cent has also become a symbol of modern coin collecting trends, where the intersection of historical significance, precise minting, and contemporary market demand converge, creating a situation where coins are appreciated not only as currency but as tangible artifacts of American culture and craftsmanship. Collectors are increasingly drawn to these modern cents for the story they tell, the legacy they carry, and the tangible proof of the meticulous work performed at the United States Mint in Denver, making the 2018 D an essential piece for anyone serious about assembling a comprehensive collection of Liberty 1 cents. As we examine the finer points of this coin, from the intricacies of Lincoln's portrait to the detailed lines of the Union Shield, it becomes clear that the 2018 D is far more than a simple penny. It is a reflection of American artistry, a representation of national pride, and a coin that, in the right condition, has the potential to be a cornerstone investment piece for collectors seeking both historical depth and contemporary market value. With its current price firmly established at $779.378, the Liberty 1 Cent 2018 D demonstrates how even modern issues, when preserved in excellent condition, can achieve remarkable recognition and financial significance, proving that coin collecting is not just about rare and ancient pieces but about understanding the evolving value of every minting and the passion that drives collectors to seek out exceptional examples year after year. If you are looking to expand your collection, the 2018 D Cent represents an outstanding opportunity to own a piece that bridges history, modern minting craftsmanship, and substantial market value, making it an ideal choice for both seasoned collectors and new enthusiasts eager to understand the continuing story of the Liberty 1 Cent series in American numismatics. The 2018 D Liberty 1 Cent is more than currency. It is a symbol of American resilience, heritage, and the enduring fascination that coins provide to collectors around the world, reminding us that every coin, regardless of its age, carries with it a story, a legacy, and a value that transcends the metal it is made from, which is exactly why the Liberty 1 Cent 2018 D continues to capture the imagination and wallets of collectors today.